On today's hot sheet, I'm discussing the impact of yesterday's Liberation Day, tariffs on housing, what buyers want from real estate professionals, and weekly unemployment data just in. Today is Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. I am Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. Live from Connecticut. Here we go. It's the Liberation Day recap. I've never seen in my life more economic experts on the internet than the last 24 hours. I mean, the amount of, I don't know how many, I didn't know how many tariff experts there were in the world. There are a lot of,
suddenly out of nowhere.
There are a lot of tariff experts out there. Okay.
Everyone who's a medical expert in 2020 got their different degree. They're a tariff expert now.
They've become a tariff expert. And so, yeah, why not? It's easy to switch from doctor to tariff expert. You know that episode in Billions when Spiros is they're prepping Wendy for that hearing again on the board, the medical board. She's going to lose her medical license. If you watch Billions, you know what I'm talking about. This guy Spiros, he's the total troll of The Office, and he wants to pretend like he's a doctor, so he's wearing the what is that?
Stethoscope.
Yeah, the stethoscope, and then acts like, get that thing off your neck. That's what I want to say to everybody on the internet who's a tariff expert. Like, get the economic book out of your hand. You're not an and The Economist. When you talk to a really smart economist, we had Danielle Hale, Realtor.com, on Knowledge Brokers podcast. Like, the really smart economists are unsure totally because this hasn't happened. We haven't seen this happen. Now, President Trump has been talking about this since 1980 something. We haven't seen anybody try it or test it. This is how long, Bobby, go to the Oprah clip. This is how long the current president has been like wanting to do tariffs. And so, listen, nobody actually really knows what's going to happen. There's a lot of wannabe experts out there, but this is actually how long the Secretary of Commerce posted this out on X. This is, I think, from 1987. Bobby, if you want to zoom in there, Haley would have had that zoomed in. I would say that Haley would have
had that zoomed in.
She would have.
Haley's in the comments right now, just going nuts at that shout out.
I know I had Bobby doing a full half hour. We were doing some role play with the team leading up into this. So I'll cut Bobby a little slack. Go ahead, play the clip.
Last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion. And yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil.
Okay.
Why aren't they paying us 20?
We get the point. Thank you, Oprah. You get a tariff. Now, Trump is the Oprah handing out tariffs. We get the point there, though. The guy's been on this thing for a long time. As we go through what this means for housing, because that's what this show's about. What does this mean for housing? I just want to give a PSA. Like, I see a lot of people all of a sudden becoming tariff experts and certainly getting triggered. Sometimes we put Trump in a thumbnail, like, because it actually relates to the economy, which relates to housing. And sometimes, people will get a little bit triggered. So I've got a little bit of PSA. If you can play the clip of Nick Wright of the last video I sent you, think this will the sports one. I think this might help. This is from a negotiation yesterday tariffs is actually, a form of negotiating. We negotiate every day as agents. Listen to this clip. This is about the Micah Parsons negotiations. And hopefully if you know somebody, an agent in your office that's getting triggered by tariff talk, hopefully this will remind them of the position we're in.
Reason, and this probably won't shock the audience at all, I think I'd be a great contract negotiator. I think I'd be literally elite at it.
Wow.
The reason
Would you be as elite at it with your own money?
No, so that's what I was going to say. The reason I have an agent for myself is because I do not have the ability to not take things personally. You know what I mean? Like all of it would wound me or hurt me. I'd get angry, all of it. The whole idea of the agent business is take the personal out of it. It's a business. Be dispassionate.
There you go.
Jerry,
that's all you got to hear. Take your personal feelings out of it. That's my PSA. Take your personal politics out of whatever, might trigger you, or if you know somebody. I don't think anybody here on the hot sheet's getting triggered if they've been following the hot sheet. Take the personal feelings out of it. How is this impacting housing right now? How is it going to impact housing in 12 months? Nobody knows. You can't get the brightest economists, the best economists, and including me, Eric. Thank you. Appreciate that. But nobody knows how this is going to impact the economy or housing in 12 months. What do we know today? Because we're all going to be talking to consumers and clients and customers today. Well, what we know today is what it's actually done to the 10-year. Okay. Hey, equities are down 2.5%, 3% on pre-trading. So stock markets are down right now. But you know what? That's actually pushed long-term rates down. Look at the 10-year. Lowest point we've seen all year, 4.04. We just broke Logan's barrier that he's said is going to be very hard to break, that 415 to 418 level. We're at 4.04. Wow. That sounds like good news for housing. Why? Because the 30-year revolves around the 10-year. Okay? It's circling the 10. Everything that the 30-year does follows the 10-year. And we're at 4.044 right now. This is all due to uncertainty, tariffs, the fact that nobody actually knows what's going to happen in 6 to 12 months with all of this tariff talk. If we didn't have this level of uncertainty, we would be sitting up over 7% potentially right now. Okay, the Dow just cratered 1,200 points. You're not stock traders. But I find it as like a buying opportunity, not financial advice, but probably a buying opportunity. If we can go to the Scott Bessent, Secretary of Treasury, he talks about the administration's focus on lowering the 10-year. The administration wants a lower 10-year. Logan has said this, Mohtashami over at Housing Wire. They want to win on housing. They want to get housing out of the housing recession. Housing's been in a recession for the last 2.5 years. The little stock boys have done fine over the last 2.5 years. Housing's gotten beat up over the 2.5 years. The little crypto punks, they've done okay. The White House actually wants to get housing back on track and out of the recession housing's been in. The crypto boys, stock boys, and the real estate people might not all be able to get happy at the same time.
Today's 428.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Anything that beats our current return, our current interest rate.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm keeping score, not that I watch it closely, but the 10-year Treasury today is 428.
428, yeah.
So
428, and he's happy. 428, and he's happy. He's like, not that I'm keeping score, not that I'm keeping track. That was a joke. The administration is keeping like daily minute tracking on what's going on with the 10-year. They want rates to go down. If the Fed's not going to help them, they want to impact the rates to go down. Part of the tariff plan that not enough people are talking about. Go ahead, go back. Scott Bessent, for everybody, Secretary of Treasury, for your friends in your office that are getting triggered. It's like, oh my gosh, the tariffs are
Oh
destroying.
my God.
Scott Bessent, lifelong Democrat. Like, I don't know, just pointing that out. Lifelong Democrat, Treasury of the Secretary. Go ahead, go back to Mr. Bessent.
Doing well.
Can we do better?
Yeah.
Can we do better than 428?
Yeah.
And I think with this group and this cabinet, and if we can put in right now, we're working on the study group for the sovereign wealth fund, and we want to do best practices. We're talking to people around the world. We're talking to investment people. We're talking to a lot of the other big sovereign funds, and we're going to do best practices. And we want this to be a legacy event.
Totally.
Like,
Dan Loeb made this.
So you can drop that off. So the administration is very focused, and that's a long. He comes back to the 10-year quite a bit on that All In podcast, which happened in DC. And here's the impacts. He was excited about 4.28. Logan Motoshami, Housing Wire, said 4.15, 4.18 is going to be a tough barrier to break. If we break that, you could see rates going to 6%. We're at 4.036. We've broken the 4.15 level that Logan talked about, and he talked about it on the Knowledge Brokers podcast recently. Go back to Bessent on the clip from yesterday, Bobby.
The full screen Twitter clip.
Yeah, go back to that one, and here's more of Treasury, the Secretary of the Treasury.
Look back in 07, right before it looked great, everything collapsed. So, I mean, it looked great right before everything collapsed. So we have taken us off that trajectory, and we are putting ourselves back onto a sound trajectory.
There you go.
Back
So
in
that's his
1998,
explanation of yesterday. That's Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary's explanation of yesterday, the Liberation Day, the Tariff Day that everybody's losing their minds over. His explanation is when everything looked great before in 07, meaning GDP and jobs, that's when everything blew up. Basically, what he said is something that I was saying a lot last year. Like, this seems like the economy's not working for a lot of people. Remember the polls in November? Everybody coming in saying this economy's not working for me. It was working for those stock boys that I'm talking about. Like, all that money that got pumped into the system wasn't working for everyday people. That actually impacted how people voted in November, the economy, the price of all this kind of stuff. But what he's talking about is what Jerome Powell's saying. Hey, the economy is actually strong. GDP is actually growing. The job market is strong. All these things that appear, by the way, job market strong. How much government hiring do we do the last 4 years? All those kind of things, numbers, you got to look deeper and deeper into the numbers. So what he's talking about is, hey, everything might look good, but if we stay on this trajectory of accumulating as much debt as we have $9 trillion coming due the end of the year. Do you want to refinance that at a higher rate or a lower rate? If we continue on this trajectory, what's going to happen? So we're making the changes now. That's the White House's position, right? You can read their fact sheet and go through and go down to the bottom and the reasons why they believe tariffs work and all of that. I'm not even gonna bore you with that, and hopefully not trigger anybody with that. You can find plenty of others. Ray Dalio, really smart, just kind of explaining how tariffs work. By the way, nowhere in his 6 points of tariffs, how tariffs work, is he going to talk about them being inflationary. That's going to be one of the big lies that you're probably going to hear, is that you got all these tariff troll experts running around telling you that this is going to be the biggest cause of inflation. Let's go to Howard Lutnick, Secretary of the Commerce. How is inflation produced?
Okay. Let's say the United States of America had $1 trillion. That's all we had. That's it. No more. Okay. And I want to buy a bottle of water and you want to buy a
Bobby.
bottle.
Hold on.
One came from
you don't get the, you didn't get the punchline.
Printing inflation.
This, he says,
comes from printing more money.
There it is.
Okay. Let's say the United States of America had $1 trillion. That's all we had. That's it. No more. Okay. And I want to buy a bottle of water and you want to buy a bottle of water. One came from America and the other one came from Fiji, right? Then, and I tariff Fiji. Then that water is $1.25 and this water is $1. That's not inflation. That means that one's more expensive, but I can choose to buy this one.
Right.
Okay. So you're right. This toy might be more expensive and that toy's not. I get it, but that's not inflation. Here's inflation. Snap my fingers. Now we have 2 trillion, right? That water's $1.50. That water's $1.25. Yeah, everything's more expensive.
That's inflation.
Okay. So inflation
There you
without
So that might be the simplest explanation on tariff that are on inflation that everybody wants to ignore. We printed 80% of our currency over a 4-year period. We went above and beyond printing money in, thank you, Eric. Makes me feel better. Listen, that's why I played the clip of the sports show of what an agent is all about. An agent is supposed to take emotions out of the process. How many agents do we have to work with every day that are emotional, that are ruining deals because they're emotional? When we're studying economics, when we're studying the market, when we're studying the impacts, we shouldn't be emotional. When we're doing deals, we shouldn't be emotional. An agent's job is to take emotions out of the equation. It's why sports athletes like Patrick Mahomes still hire an agent. Patrick Mahomes doesn't need an agent. There's a salary cap in the NFL to be the highest paid player in the NFL. He doesn't need an agent for that. He needs an agent because he doesn't want to do the job and he doesn't want to get emotional doing the job of somebody telling him maybe he should think about structuring his contract this or that way. Dude, I bleed for this team. He doesn't want to get emotional. Let a professional go and deal with that because they're going to take the emotions out of it. And that's what we're supposed to do, take the emotions out of it. And when we listen to a guy like Howard Lutnick, also lifelong Democrat donor, for any of your friends that get triggered about, oh my gosh, somebody from the Trump administration is being played on the hot sheet. So go look this guy up. I didn't even know his name until a couple of months ago. Look him up, the track record of success that he's had. It's quite impressive. That might be the best explanation I've ever heard on inflation. Okay. Inflation is caused by us printing and printing money. So tariffs are going to create a tax within the product that make a product, a domestic product, more expensive versus a domestic product. But to his point, maybe you buy that domestic product, right? That's the White House's position. Whether you agree with that or not, that's the position. What it means in real time for housing is rates are moving down. Okay. If you wanted to sell stock today, you missed the timing on the peak stock market. Maybe a time to buy, not financial advice. Stock traders want the market to always go up. Hey, we've just dealt with a real estate recession for 2.5 years. Maybe it's time for housing to get moving again because it impacts a lot of Main Street America, the attorney on Main Street, the loan officer on Main Street, the cleaning company on Main Street. It impacts the handyman on Main Street, the landscaper on Main Street, the real estate agent, the title company, the insurance agent on Main Street. Think about, as housing gets going again, think about all the businesses that get going again. What does Realtor.com say this move means for housing? Okay. All right, we know what the administration says. Here's what Realtor.com says for house prices, okay? Could mean higher construction costs for home builders, okay? Well, what have we heard over the years about home builders' construction costs? They're always high. They were high before prices went up during COVID. Oh, it's costly to be a builder. Yep, it is. There's a lot of regulation, and it's costly to be a builder, okay? So NAHB estimates that 10% of building materials used in residential construction are imported. Okay, so 10%, 90% are not imported. Interesting. U.S. supply gap isn't really being solved by new construction, I would argue, because new construction is way above the, if you put 4 million homes on the market at $500,000 right now, does that solve the inventory issue for buyers out there? No. Most of the buyers out there, about 60% of the deals are happening between 250 and 500. Most of the buyers can't buy that house. So builders can't really build to what the demand can afford anyways. So we're not really that many homes short. I've been saying that for quite some time. What do tariffs mean for mortgage rates? Let's see what Realtor.com says, but I just showed you what it means. We just broke the barrier of the 10-year. That was unexpected. That means we could start moving more towards Danielle Hale, also Realtor.com. Projection for this year that we're going to get to possibly 6%. Tariffs could impact mortgage rates. Now, here's where Realtor.com got it wrong, that I think that Howard Lugnick just told us. If it keeps inflation higher for longer, okay, as many economists fear that they will. It's hard to connect those dots, right? And really, nobody knows. It could. Maybe it does increase inflation. Maybe Lugnick, who's been right about 4 decades straight about a lot of economic stuff, because he's made it's like listening to an economist who is an economist and never built a business, and then like Lugnick, who's made he's like a billionaire. I think. Look him up. What's Lugnick? The guy's a billionaire, right? He's actually won in the economy. I don't know. It's like, do I want to listen to the college professor talking about business, or here's how to build a business? College professor or Gary Keller? I don't know. I'll probably sit down in a room with Gary Keller instead of the Yale professor who's theorizing about business. That's me. So a lot of the economists fear that inflation will go up off of this. What Realtor.com didn't say there is a lot of economists on one side of the political aisle, because you can find a whole bunch of economists on the other side of the political aisle that disagree.
According to Google, Lutnick probably has a net worth between 2 and 4 billion, according to various sources.
Okay, there you go. So the guy's made a couple bucks. Here's what I'd look at more on the inflation, on the interest rates. We looked at the 10-year today. I mean, breaking through Logan Monoshami's 4.15 to me is enough. I mean, Logan doesn't get triggered by any of this stuff. If you follow him on X, it's pretty fun to watch him work. But here is, I gotta find this number now. We just saw. Oh, I'll find it. I've got it in my bookmarks here. All right. Going to my bookmarks. We just had too many things here, Bobby.
You have too many tabs open? What?
Oh, I'm not going to be able to find it. Just this morning, we will find this. Just this morning, we saw that there have been a expectation lowered for the 10-year. Okay. And that came down from 4.35 all the way down to 4. Bobby, I think it was Goldman Sachs. If you can source that for me, it's Goldman Sachs. I got a million tabs for this show. Goldman Sachs now saying that tariffs, their projection, for a 10-year treasury, all of a sudden today coming down from 4.35, which was way above this level, ending at 4. Okay. Traders bet more Fed cuts with 10-year yield headed towards 4%. Open that from Bloomberg. Okay.
I don't know if I could read
that. That's okay. Just show the headline, because this summarizes what I saw this morning, and I just don't have the appropriate tab open. But if you can share that, Bobby. This is what you're not going to let you share that?
No, hold on, they will.
Okay.
They've just updated their terms.
Yeah, so traders bet on more Fed cuts with 10-year yield headed towards 4%. For the first time today, I've seen this. Let me go to mine.
Hold on.
I've seen now a 1 out of 4 chance that the Fed cuts. CME Group. This has been hovering around 10%. So for the first time, this is like an active daily update. For the first time in a long time, we're seeing a 1 out of 4 chance. We're seeing now investors, and I think it was Goldman Sachs that I saw previously saying, hey, 10 years now expectation is to go down. What did Logan say? Logan says, and we're going to get into labor here in a second. Labor hasn't broken. And from what he understands, there's been a full-scale effort to secure the best deals with various nations over the next few months. So he sees tariffs as negotiating, not the end of the world, being non-emotional about it. Data from 2019 showed if the markets believe deals will happen, they can recover quickly. So what's that in response to? Like, hey, I don't know if it's comforting or unsettling that futures aren't down more. Futures were down 2.5%, 1,200 points for the Dow. There's people on X that think the end of the world is coming. This guy on Twitter saying, hey, I thought futures would be down more with some reactions. Logan saying, hey, these markets, the stock market can bounce back and forth very quickly as negotiations are secured. Okay. A lower 10-year yield and gas prices can work with the public until deals are secured. You get a lower 10-year for home shopper, which brings you a lower 30-year fix for home shoppers, and lower gas prices. I mean, for those in the public that aren't really tied into the stock market like Wall Street, they tend to not care as much, right? It's like, oh, I don't really care. So what Logan sees this tariff as is a negotiation tactic. These charts here that the administration put out have been something of
bit meme worthy.
Meme
I feel like we
worthy.
have some Trump holding up the sign memes cooking.
Definitely meme worthy. Definitely people that want to, on one side of the aisle want to say these numbers are fugazi. These numbers they're manipulated, whatever. This is what the administration put out. Tariffs charged to the U.S., including currency manipulation and trade barriers. Point is, everybody on the left side, every country is higher than what these new tariffs in yellow America. You see China 67% versus 34%. That 34% I am hearing is on top of 20% already on China. So that would be 54% on China. Still, if you're just looking at numbers, China's at 67, we're going to be at 54. They're higher. That's the point the administration is making. We're not as high as these. Again, whether you agree with tariffs or not, haven't really been tested in a long time. Since we've had income taxes, they haven't been tested. That's how America used to run before they took.
William McKinley was the last president to fully enforce a tariff policy.
Before we paid income taxes, it was tariffs. All right. Vietnam, 90%, we're at 46. Taiwan, 64, we're at 32. Japan, 46, we're at 24. India, 52, we're at 26, and so on. I mean, look at how many. Didn't even know there was this many countries, I guess, but there's a lot of countries that we do trade with. Okay. Lots of countries. There you go. Logan says, seeing it as a negotiation, seeing it as until deals are made. He's saying expect deals to be made in the next couple months. This is being somebody who's coming in saying, this is what I want in a negotiation. I'm not going to move until I get it. Obviously, see what happens. This could be a risky game. It could be turned to a game of chicken. Okay. But Logan expects deals to be made. Until that time, a lower 10-year and lower gas prices might ease concerns of citizens. If lower 10-year persists, that means lower 30-year fixed for the spring market. We're already seeing that today. This is the most excited day I've been since early 2022 to look at the 30-year fixed. I mean, I just want to sit here and stare at the ticker. Are we going to hit 3.9? Lowest level we've been on the 10-year all year. Good things are coming for the 30-year fix. That wraps up tariff talk today with your non-tariff expert. All right, let's go over to realtor.com. Jump into school. You can jump into school anytime. If you're a BAMX member, you can jump. Well, I guess you can jump into school anytime because it's a platform, but you can jump into BAMX on school anytime on your mobile app or on the desktop by joining BAMX. School.com/BAMX. And you can get access to all of the hot sheet charts today. You just click into Classroom right here, go to the hot sheet, and you get access to all of our charts. I've got some tariff charts on there for you if you didn't get enough tariff talk yet. Okay.
All tariffs all the time on the hot sheet.
Yeah. But let's jump into this one actually, Bobby. This is playing off of yesterday. What buyers want most from their real estate agents. This is from yesterday's NAR 100+ page deck. The home buyer, home seller, generational, their report that they come out with every year. It may be one of the best things NAR does. The home buyers and sellers generation for 2025. Thank you,
That's not
Bobby.
playing on stream. It's not
Okay. And so this is my favorite chart that comes out every year. This is a really good reminder for agents. What buyers actually want from agents. Number one, help finding the right home to purchase. Help finding the right home to purchase, 49%. Okay. This is why Patrick Mahomes still hires an agent. He doesn't want to do the work of getting the State Farm deal. He wants it dropped into his lap. Buyers don't actually want to do the work of finding every single home. They want to be part of the process. They want to have a view in to ZillowRealtor.com. They don't want to do all the work. They want help finding the right home. They want their agent sourcing deals.
You want the clip from yesterday that we played, which calls the agents?
Yeah, go ahead. Play that clip. This is from when did we do this on?
Yesterday, 2 days ago. Just gotta wait for the ad to skip.
All right, we're gonna play a clip of
Cody Sanchez.
Cody Sanchez calling agents and these consumers are valuing this, what I'm about to show you. And then once they get a hold of an agent, which is a hard thing for consumers to do sometimes, unfortunately, they want help actually finding the home. Go ahead.
I can try to protect us as much as possible.
All right, you're the best. Love you.
Love you too.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, trusted expert, aka dad, check. Now we go to new experts, aka realtors. So we got TexasRealtors.com.
It's infuriating
We got
how she says
Ramsey-rated
realtors.
realtors, and we're going to pick one of the top ones. What's up, Melissa? And we're going to call Melissa and say what's up. Hey, Melissa, this is Cody. If you could give me a ring back, that'd be great.
All
I'm
right,
looking to
she
close on a deal really
Knock it
quick.
off. She calls 3 agents in a row. Not one agent picks up. Not one agent picks up. And what she says is, listen, the first person that calls me back, I've reviewed them on this review site. I've just called pick 3, whatever. First person that calls me back, I'm going to talk to that person. She values speed. Most consumers do. It's why over 70% of consumers, the first agent they talk to is the one that they hire. Convenience, speed, don't want to talk to a lot of agents, want to get the help now, and ultimately want to get help finding the right purchase. Way more people want help finding the right home to purchase than negotiating terms, than price negotiations, than help with the paperwork. It's fill in the blank. 16-year-old could do it. Determine what comparable homes are selling for. Help determine way more than all that stuff. Help finding the right home to purchase. Like, are you actually showing me things I can't see on Zillow? Are you sourcing off-market deals? Are you sending me properties before I send them to you? Okay. Why? Because the most difficult steps of the home buying process is finding the right property. So that's what they need the most help with. Okay. If the most difficult part of the process was fill in the blank paperwork, then that'd be at the top of the list. But it's not. It's fill in the blank. I mean, listen, Bobby is not a real estate agent. But if I left him with
confirmed, not a real estate agent.
Confirmed. But he is the best video guy in the industry. At Bobby Kowecki on Instagram.
Please. Yeah. Jennifer already tweeted at you and I on Twitter, so you can find us there as well.
Oh, good. You can find us on X. Follow Bobby on IG. Follow Bobby. But not an agent. If I left him with a listing contract over lunchtime, he'd probably be able to walk me through 50% of it. He's a pretty smart guy. Okay. They're pretty straightforward. The attorneys that wrote them aren't that smart either, by the way. So these charts are right available for BAMX. For BAMX members, you can grab them easy and download them, all that kind of stuff. Okay, where they found the home that they purchased. 51%, of course, on the internet, but 29% agents, us, finding those deals. making it happen, being non-emotional for our clients in the process. Okay. Agents exist because consumers don't want to do that work. They don't want to do that work, and they want someone to help them with the hard problems, which is actually finding the house and doing all the work that's associated with getting to the closing line. All right, let's take a quick look here at unemployment. We looked at job openings yesterday. Unemployment here released this morning. Okay. Initial claims comes in at 219,000. Unemployment continues to move sideways. This was revised. It's a decrease from 6,000 from last week's revised level, which was revised up to 225,000. So unemployment, labor market has not broken. Okay. That's what Logan reminded us in his tweet today. Labor market hasn't broken yet. Labor over inflation.
That's a ridiculous custom mug, by the way.
That is an amazing custom mug. But as we look at labor and we look at what the Fed's going to do, they're going to not make significant moves until the labor market breaks, which it hasn't. That's why Logan says labor over inflation. And the White House can't really control Jerome Powell. Nobody can control him. He is his own man. He is not politically motivated unless it comes to printing money.
He's Batman. That's why we always put him as Batman.
He's
in the
Batman.
thumbnail.
He's his own Batman. And so that's why the administration is taking the actions they are. You heard Secretary of Treasury Bessent say, we're actively following the 10-year. You've heard Logan say the administration wants lower 30-year fixed mortgages. The 30-year yesterday came in at 6.75. I'm more excited now than ever today to actually see what this might move to. We're at 4 on the 10-year. This could be a move down. I have no idea what I'm saying right now, but what's your Price is Right over under? I get close on these predictions all the time. I wish there was like Vegas odds, like a FanDuel app where I could bet on this. It could get close to 6.5. I mean, we could be in the 6.5s today. We've seen drops that big.
Quite the jump.
We've seen them though. So let's just go here let's go to the chart and look at moments when we've seen jump downs like this in recent memory. Okay. So here's a 1-day jump on July 30th, 2024. Right here, I'm sorry, August the 1st, 1 day it moved from 6.62 to 6.4 on October 2nd. 1 day, that is 0.2. That's what I'm calling for here. I think 655 could be the number. We've seen it enough times. We've seen it go the other way too. Okay. We've seen it go the other way. Listen, would I expect it to move the 30-year fix to move the other way like we saw in call that October of 2024 when it goes from 626 up to 653 or some of these big jumps and moves up as we break up over 7? If today, right now, if Trump said, hey, everybody except MSNBC, come into the Oval Office. I've got a press conference. Everybody's invited except for the media outlets that I don't like. You're all invited. And he gets up there and says, okay, slept on it. Saw a lot of posts on X. There was a lot of emotion. I'm canceling all tariffs effective immediately. What would happen if he said that? The stock market would soar. It would boom. Where would that money come from? People would leave the 10-year treasury to go buy equity stocks to ride the wave, right? The algorithms would be sloshing money around for the little Wall Street boys. Money would be flying out of one thing and out of the other. And what would happen to the 10-year? It would jump up. And then what would happen to the 30-year fix? It would make one of those moves that we just saw, one of those straight line moves this afternoon, up. Might be up over 7. Everything's happening the opposite way. And we may see a 30-year fix get closer to 6.5. To me, spring market time, I'll take it. If stocks get low enough, I might buy. Not financial advice. That's your hot sheet for the week. If you want to get the most out of what we do at BAM, join us in BAMX, school.com/BAMX. April 23rd is BAM Fest. It's a free event, free to everybody. We have a mega surprise guest, never been seen before on a public-facing real estate stage.
I heard it's Jerome Powell.
It might be Jay
I heard it's
Powell.
Jerome Powell.
Definitely never seen before on a real estate stage. I promise you this guest is better than Jerome Powell. That's how big this guest is. This is better than Jerome Powell. Go to nowbamfest.com to sign up for that free virtual event. School.com/BAMX to become a member. Every member gets a Zudilio account included in your membership. Zudilio, of course, helps us put the hot sheet on every single day. The Zudilio account included in BAMX is a $2,400 value. You can get into BAMX annually for about $2 a day, way less than $2 a day, but $150. Talk about disinflation. That's BAMX, baby. Get in today before we inflate those prices on April 23rd, because we are. And everybody gets grandfathered in when they get locked in at their price. It's my buddy from X, Darth guy. Hey, is that you, Justin? Are you Darth Powell?
No, that's the guest.
That's the guest. It ain't Darth Powell. I'll tell you that. We got a real legitimate playmaker coming on, and he or she is going to blow your minds. No question about it.
We've seen a lot of good guesses that we've seen. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, people were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Gary V.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock got thrown around a little bit. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
It's not The Rock. I'll clear that one up. But listen, all those other names that you mentioned should be in the mix. So, all right, there you go. That's all I'll say on that. Hope to see you guys on BAMX. Free and simple way to support this channel. Subscribe, walkthrough channel later. Knowledge Brokers over on the separate channel tomorrow. We're wrapping up Hot Sheet for the week. I'll see you back on the Hot Sheet Monday. Until then, toodaloo.